Hello, and welcome to another YouTube video. Greenland has been the center of a lot of interest lately, particularly since the United States of America has shown interest in acquiring Greenland. And Greenland has politely declined, and so has Denmark, which works very closely with Greenland. And Greenland is part of the Danish kingdom. And a lot of people have been making good arguments for why Greenland should not be part of the United States. And I've heard a lot of the arguments, but there are two arguments that I haven't heard. I'd like to explore those two arguments right now. My first argument is the Virgin Islands, located about halfway between the United States of America and Venezuela. Now, Denmark used to own the Virgin Islands. That is until 1917, when Denmark sold the Virgin Islands to the United States for, at that time, $20 million, which is roughly about $600 million in today's money. So we can establish a precedent. Denmark used to own an island, or in this case a group of islands, that is sold to the United States of America. And then what happened? Slavery was already abolished by that time. Denmark abolished slavery in, let me just check my notes here, in 1848. The United States, a little bit later, a few years later, and they had to fight a war to abolish slavery. Imagine that. Loving slavery so much, you're willing to die for it. Well, anyway, that's another story. So slavery is abolished, and the Virgin Islands become part of the United States, a province of sorts. What does that mean? Well, it means it's not a state. People born on the Virgin Islands are U.S. citizens, but they're not allowed to vote in the presidential elections. The Virgin Islands do, however, have a delegate in the House of Representatives, and the delegate is allowed to participate in debates, but is not allowed to vote in them. It's also of note that the Greenlanders, as long as they're part of the Kingdom of Denmark, have access to free healthcare, tax-paid healthcare, free universities, again, tax-paid universities, and they even get a grant for going to college. The people of the Virgin Islands, not so much so. No universal healthcare, no free education. Their system is much like the American citizens, a little bit behind the Western Europeans. It's also worth noting that the political and economical interests of Greenland were signed over to Denmark when they sold the Virgin Islands to the United States of America. So it's not just a question of having a boat land there a few hundred years ago. It's actually a written contract. My second argument are the islands of Hawaii, located way over here, too small to even be part of the risk game. Well, the Hawaiians did not become part of the United States by choice. It was actually a rather violent overthrow of the Kingdom of Hawaii at that time. But in 1959, they did become a U.S. state, the last U.S. state to enter the Union, 50th state. So the question is, are the Hawaiians better off as the 50th U.S. state than they were before? Arguments can be made either way. But the real argument is, are they better off or worse off than the people of Greenland? As we've already established, Greenlanders enjoy tax-funded education, college, and healthcare. The Hawaiians, being U.S. citizens, do not. With these two cases, the Virgin Islands and Hawaii, as historical examples of what happens when the United States of America takes a territory or a state, it's of little wonder the Greenlanders are hesitant. Because remember, the best indicator of future behavior is past behavior. Thanks for watching. Leave a like or a message if you want. Bye.